Welcome into the 617 podcast, brought to you by the Crow Worthy Network, the voice of the Boston fans by the Boston fans. I'm Craig D'Alessandro. That is Rayshawn Buchanan right over there with me. This episode of the 617 is brought to you by BetUS.com. BetUS.com is back with their 28-year NFL action. For the best bets, parlays, and daily odds boosters, BetUS.com is the place to be. You get a 125% sign-on bonus by using the promo code PRO at sign-up. That's CROW at checkout for a 125% sign-up bonus at BetUS.com. This episode is also brought to you by the fine folks over at BenchClearers.com. Bench Clearers is doing some really cool sports apparel right now that nobody else in the game is doing. They're turning NHL sweaters into cool tank tops so you can wear all season long. They have the same sweater NHL look without the heavy sweater feel, so you can wear them in the summer as well. With the start of the NHL season right around the corner, now's the time to pick up some cool Bruins gear, especially as we get closer to the holidays. They make amazing gifts. Men and women's tanks are available. Hockey shorts and joggers are available as well. And it's not just the Bruins. BenchClearers.com has apparel from every single NHL team and some awesome throwbacks like the Hartford Whalers. You can check out BenchClearers.com and use the promo code CROW at checkout and save 15% on your first order. That's CROW at checkout to save 15% on your order. Rayshawn Buchanan, I'm going to throw a curveball for you. We're going to talk about the Patriots here today over their shutout win over the Detroit Lions. I want to get the best ribs in Boston. Where am I going to go?
Best ribs in Boston. Maybe the spot called Slade's that's down in that's down near Mass Ave. So Slade's has been there forever. Slade's actually usually owned by Bill Russell back in the day in the mid '60s when he was an active player. But yeah, Slade's is usually good for the ribs. But if that's not a place to get ribs, well, I mean, obviously you can get it there, but and there's another place that is good for ribs, please let me know.
Because I've been eating very I know I don't look like it, but I've actually been eating very dainty over the last couple of weeks, so I can fit into my wedding attire for my brother's wedding yesterday. So it's time to it's time to feed the beast again. But once again, welcome into the 617 podcast brought to you by Crowworthy. We're talking today about the Patriots 29-0 win over the Detroit Lions. Patriots are now 2-0 on the season. They travel to Cleveland next week to take on a sneaky good Browns team. They're ranked third in the NFL in offense right now. Great win by the Patriots, 29-0, a victory over the Detroit Lions. A lot to talk about. Zappe fever in Foxborough right now. Let's start with Bailey Zappe filling in for an injured Mac Jones. Still recovering from a high ankle sprain he suffered in week 3 versus Baltimore Ravens. Zappe was 17-21, 188 yards, a touchdown to Jacoby Myers in his return after missing last week. Very nice fade to the right for 24 yards at the end of the third quarter. Rayshawn, what are your impressions? Patriots shutting out the Detroit Lions, the top scoring offense and most points allowed as well in the NFL. Patriots now 2-3 on the season.
Yeah. So listen, when we spoke about this last week when we did the preview earlier last week, I had no confidence they would find a way to win this game. And I was blown away that they came out and played the way they played today. And shout out to the red uniformers. I mean, it's funny. I think I made this statement on that show. I was like, it'd be great to get a shutout and win 59-0 now. I didn't think that was going to happen, but the fact that they really won 29-0 says a lot about what they were doing. So who knows? Maybe Ted Johnson and Tommy Curran will write about the more victory leading into this week. I'm still not with that narrative, but I mean, hey, at the same time, the defense played great because Detroit had been putting up numbers against everyone. So to say, and I know tomorrow when this comes out and other shows that will come on to talk about those say, Detroit was historically bad. They've been historically bad. And it's like, look, they put up 40 on people twice already. So Don't tell me you didn't think they were going to come in here and at least score 25-30 where Bailey Zappe and company were going to be fighting for their lives just to come out with a win. That turned out not to be the case. Defense was great. They made timely plays when they need to make it. So yeah, good win overall. Once again, I want to see them string a few wins together before I change my mindset on them. But nevertheless, it's always good when you get a shutout, and there was a lot of good things that happened on the field that they can build off of going into Cleveland next week.
Well, this is what we said after last week. After the Green Bay game, the schedule really lightens up, and that started this week with Detroit. And I understand they were the highest scoring offense going in, but they also allowed the most points, and that only went up today. Us allowing Patriots to score 29 points, a season high for them, I believe. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
On offense today. So I think the next week, pretty much up until Thanksgiving, when they play the Vikings on Thanksgiving, are pretty much going to be a mirage or maybe a get right point for the Patriots, because we've seen how much they've struggled through the first 4 games, starting 1-3. But
Right.
I felt like this is the point now, the next 5-6 weeks, and including the bye week, and that this is the point where the Patriots need to get right and start to righten the ship and trying to figure out their offense, try to figure out what team they're going to be.
Mhm.
And I think that started today. I thought that they knew their game plan coming in. I think they knew Sunday night, right after that Green Bay game, pretty much what they were going to do. Bailey Zappi, his first career NFL start, and it's pretty much going to be a running game featuring Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson, just trying to run it up the gut on the Detroit Lions and on Dan Campbell's team. And that's pretty much what they did all day long, even though Bailey Zappi was very efficient, only throwing for what's that, 80,
Yeah, about
85%?
about 80%, yeah, 85%.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
uh,
I mean, he gave what the game needed, and we throw that term around with game manager, but that's
yeah, I was
exactly
about to say, it was a game manager. Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly what he was, and yeah, I figured that he would have a better performance being knowing that he was going to be the starter all week, right? So he
Yep.
definitely was told that Monday morning, saying, "Hey, this is what we're going to be doing. Max going to come back probably in a couple of weeks. We can get into that." I think after what we saw today, we could hold off seeing Mac in Cleveland. That's just my opinion, and let him come back during the Chicago game. That's just me. I just think give him that extra day, that extra week would be even more beneficial for the injury. But it all depends on what the doctors say, and obviously what Mac wants to do. Because obviously at the end of the day, you know your body more than most. But yeah, Zappy was really good, man. Ramondre Stevenson, once again, I've said it many times on the air when we tape on here. Listen, Joe and I are the leaders of the Ramondre Stevenson fan club. He is to me a very special talent, and him and Damon Harris are definitely becoming their two best offensive skill players by
Oh,
far.
by far, by far.
And it was unfortunate to see Harris go down, but I feel like that's something we are accustomed to seeing now. Like that's just what's going to happen with him. He's going to have a game or two that he just misses throughout the season. So, which is why I think that's where they're going to use that. Well, why they won't resign him is because of stuff like that. That he's not always available, even though he's one to get better. He's like I said, he's one of your two best players on offense. So, that to me is a joke, but it is what it is. But yeah, listen, Stevenson, 26 carries, one thing, either 151 or 161. I forget what number it was, but
161, yeah.
yeah, 161. Like he was LeGarrette Blount today. He was LeGarrette Blount
Great,
today.
great.
He was phenomenal.
I'm happy you brought up LeGarrette Blount, because I want to talk about that in a little bit. I got a whole little section carved out for Ramondre Stevenson here, because I
Right.
wanted the way he played today. We're gonna get to him in a little bit. Doesn't really remind me of Ramondre Stevenson. I'm LeGarrette Blount,
Mhm.
and I'm actually gonna up what I think about Ramondre Stevenson. And we've talked about it with Joe on the show as well.
Mhm.
My opinion of him was already sky high, so it's my opinion of him slowly going up. But getting back to Billy Zappi here again, 17-21, 188 yards. Thought he was pretty good. Clearly, this was a game manager running on the Lions game, but still, pretty good. If I'm Bailey Zappi, I'm hoping that Matt comes back next week, and he was practicing this week for the second straight week. Wasn't declared inactive until about 11:30 when the inactives come out. I think that was just a bit of a ruse on Bill's part, because he can't do the old Richard Seymour thing anymore. Uh,
Right. Right.
yeah, uh, that's a story for another day. If y'all want to know that, leave a message in the comments. The long story about how Bill loved to manipulate the rules. We all know that. But if I'm Bailey Zappi, I'm hoping Matt comes back next week, and Bailey Zappi never has to play another snap while he's in New England, because I think we've been around the league long enough to know that that's the best way you can get paid in the NFL. Have a very short window of success in the NFL as a backup. Wait till you get the free agency, then just cash in on a $30 million contract as a backup or a starter.
Yeah,
You could end up in Miami or something. Because
yes,
you look at the,
also Mike Glennon is the poster child for that.
yep.
Did a little bit of damage in Tampa Bay. It was Tampa Bay. No, it was in the Chicago.
No, one Tampa Bay, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and then ended up getting like a 3-year deal for $45 million. So yeah, I mean, shout out to the agent for that one because that was, that that was a true heist essentially. You know where I'm going.
Yeah.
That was a true heist essentially for sure.
But I think just the way it is right now, if Mac has to miss another game, and I do think he misses Cleveland, I think he's going to try and get back, but I do think he misses Cleveland. He might not though, but I do think if he gets back that if he's not able to come back, that I think we learned from this game for at least the next couple of weeks. Bailey Zappe's more than capable of babysitting this team because I'm not saying this is a Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady situation, but today's game, Bailey Zappe's performance was hopefully a bit of a wake-up call for Mac Jones. I think it's clear he's taken a huge step back this year, Mac Jones has, from last year, just in the 3 games we've seen from him. And I think it's a bit of a wake-up call that this team can win now without him. And
Yeah,
I think that needs to wake him up a little bit because let's be real. Even during training camp, I understand they've thrown a brand new offensive playbook at him. They're asking him to do a lot. They're asking him, this is his team now. This is supposed to be Mac Jones's team. It's supposed to be Mac Jones's offense.
Right.
They threw an entire thing at him. But let's be real. He hasn't looked good this year. He's taken a huge setback. He's only thrown 1 touchdown. He threw 4 interceptions. And really, he's loving throwing in the triple coverage to wide receivers or tight ends in the end zone. Just loving it. And if he's not today wasn't a wake-up call for Mac Jones. I don't know what's going to be.
What it could really come next week because my thing is, what if Bailey Zappe goes like 25 or 40 or like 300 and 2 touchdowns next week? Then what?
You think they unleash him?
Now, and they win by extent or whatever. Like what happened? Once again, we'll get it for people later on in the week. But what if that happens? That it's like, oh, whoa! And once again, there's already, and you just made a comparison yourself, but Patriots was going crazy earlier, seeing him make certain throws. And I was saying to you last week, we seen it in the preseason, like he knows how to fit in a tight window. Like, granted, I know that Jacoby Myers basically lost the corner on that play. But he zipped that right in there and hit him right in the numbers. Like, that's one thing that we was praising Mac for doing all of last year. Like, he fits it in there very, very well. So if he comes out there again, and I think having Jacoby Myers back was huge. I joked about it earlier with somebody. I'm like, I said, Tyquan Thornton has already done more than N'Keal Harry did. We're having the 2 catches for 7 yards. So it was just cool just to see him out there. I think that, we'll have more moments out there with him when you're like, oh, okay, like they'll win that wide receiver screen. I was happy because I talked about it last week too. It's like they listened to us. I was happy to see screens actually ran. Because once again, Aiden Hutchinson is a hell of a edge rusher. So you have to negate that by running screens. Yes, Matt, whoever's out, like, yes, thank you for taking heed to that and running actual screens, running play action. Like that is something that you need to do to help the offense. And I'm so glad that they chose to do that because there was times when they looked decent. Now there were still plays where you're like, oh my God, like we're still being conservative or we're not doing enough. But once again, stuff is growing by the week. The offensive line is getting better by the week.
Yeah.
But whether it's right, I mean, obviously, and I'm already bleeding into my weaknesses part of this.
Oh yeah.
My low license, we call it. I'm still out on this Isaiah Wynn.
We're get there. I got a whole thing for you.
I'll get there, but I'm just like, but I'm gonna stay positive, stay positive.
Yeah.
But like, Zappe was great. Stevenson was great, and I can't believe that we got this far into it. Like I said, we're almost 15 minutes in, below over 15 minutes in. Yo, New England fans, I want y'all to hear me. I want you to hear me good. We now have a number 1 corner, and his name is Jack Jones. Like that boy
might have 2 number 1 corners.
Huh?
Might have 2.
You got 2?
Might Jonathan Jones.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, but yeah, no, that's true. But I don't know, man. that interception that he caught out of bounds, or as he was running out, get out of bounds, and he had the presence of mind to tiptoe in there. And I'm like, the dude is just there. He's become. I'm calling him the blanket. So you're
Yep.
hearing it first. If you hear it elsewhere, they stole it from they stole it. I'm calling Jack Jones the blanket, because he's covering everybody up. Like I'm going with that. So that's new merch for you right there. Jack Jones, aka the blanket. Like it is nighttime for anybody that he's on, and like I say, he is turning into a special talent for us. And it's funny, right? Because Jack Jones, 4th rounder, making an impact. Billy Zappe this year, 4th rounder, now making an impact. Marcus Jones, I believe, also was the other 4th rounder in there.
Yep.
So he's making an impact. So all of a sudden, and we talked about it, I think when we did a show with the Kai on here, the guys they drafted had to make an impact, right? I mean, we weren't expecting Zappe to do it, like, but the other two, we were hoping maybe they find a way to get on the field and be key contributors like Kyle Duggar was. And I love to see that today from Kyle Duggar as well. So it's good to see him back on the field too. So yeah, like to me, like I said, Jack Jones, like I said, we have a number one. Like I said, you said we got 2 number ones, but yeah, Jack Jones to me is the guy. And maybe who knows, maybe we have a new law firm. Remember, it used to be Benjamin Green Ellis was a law firm. Maybe we have a new law firm called J&J. you know, we, we,
Well,
we got you covered.
Well, you can make it a very experienced law firm and make it J&J, because Marcus Jones found himself onto the field too and had himself a pretty good day in the slot corners.
Yep, sure did. So yeah, they did. Yeah, JQ, baby.
I'm happy you brought that up, because normally the way I like to do these things is, like, let's spend half the show talking about the positives, then we'll spend the second half talking about the negatives. I got no negatives today. Even
There was some. There was some.
Oh yeah, for sure there were some, but even the people I'm going to say negative things about still had really good days. Like, I'm going to shit on Isaiah Wynn in a little bit, but still he had a very good day as an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you brought up Jack Jones right there. I love him. He's so good. I love, especially as a rookie. Especially as a rookie, I love that he comes in and he has that swagger already. Because that press conference he did last week in Green Bay, he finds it an insult that quarterbacks are throwing to him. Oh, loved it. Loved it. That's the pimp stuff that we need in New England.
Yeah,
that we haven't had in a long time.
That's always been the thing, though, right? Like, as much as I have not a newfound disdain, but just it's a growing disdain for what Bill and other people on the coach staff have done. One thing I'll never knock him on is his ability to find defensive players, but specifically finding corners. He always finds guys that can cover. So from the Asantes, from the Logan Ryans back there, like, they always find guys that can play in that backfield. Like, that's just what he does. And he knows corners. He just does. So, this is, we were saying, oh, how can you move on with stuff? And I want to Gilmore. I want to Gilmore to stay the rest of his career. I love Stephon Gilmore, but I get it. Like, if you believe that, hey, I know how to agree. I know how to find corners. Like, the way that this one still can find wide receivers, we can find corners. That's just what Bill specializes in. Corners, running backs. That is the two things that he really he just knows how to find. Like, that's one thing I'll never doubt his choosing of the guys that he brings in those positions. But yeah, but like you said it, yeah, the swagger's there, and I just think the more they see that he can handle, the more they throw at him, and I think he's gonna pass the test time and time again. Like, it's gonna be real once you get back to Buffalo again, and you see Miami again, and it's gonna be a real test seeing Justin Jefferson Thanksgiving, because Justin Jefferson is real. And like I said, we'll get there when we do that preview show. But I like to see. I like what I've seen from them, and I am leading the charge, the bandwagon, aka, like I said, Jack Jones is the blanket. I'm telling y'all, like, that should be something that we should embrace him a lot more in the city going forward.
We switch to the defense now, and I want to keep talking about this defense because, oh my God, they had a day today. Lions entered the game as the highest scoring offense in football. They averaged 35 points a game coming into today. And
Yep.
thanks to the Patriots shutting them up for 60 minutes, that's now gone on to 28 points a game
Crazy.
after just a dominating effort. But what I really want to focus on is the fact that the Patriots set an NFL record today. They stopped the Detroit Lions 6 times on fourth down. That's
Wow.
never happened before in the
Crazy.
history of the NFL.
Crazy.
The Lions went for it on fourth down 6 times today, failing to convert each time. 4th and 1, 4th and 9, 4th and 2, 4th and 5, 4th and 1, eventually 4th and 4 as well. Judon, oh boy, man is a beast. I know we talked about it last year. We talked about it this year as well. Just just ate Jared Goff's lunch today. He had 4 QB hits, including 2 sacks. He was
Mhm.
just dominating. And one of those sacks, of course, the strip sack. Kyle Duggar, my favorite player in the entire Patriots roster, took it in for a 56-yard touchdown. Uh, is there a weak point on this offense? I can't even. I can't even really. Defensively, I can't really find a flaw in this. I understand they're going against less than superior competition right now,
So
but
the weakness right now is the linebackers.
is it
Linebacker.
though? Because I felt like they had a great day today. I understand it's line, but
Mhm.
I count Kyle Duggar as a linebacker. I don't really count him as a safety because he never plays safety. Really, he's a de facto linebacker.
I mean, him,
So
him, 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 and Peppers are both
yeah,
really
Jabril
both
Peppers. Yeah.
linebackers. They're both linebackers in a way, but so I mean, if you count it like that, then yeah, like they don't have a weakness defensively. But once again, I said this, I've been saying this: the defense was ahead of the offense, and that's still the case right now. No, defensively, they're once again, if they're healthy, they're as good as any defense in this league. It's just a matter of they got faster. They get to the quarterback, which is huge. Once again, I think Jordan now it's up to 6 sacks on the season. So
Yep.
yeah, like I'm very pleased with what I've seen for the because once again, the only play that really pissed me off was the play in week 1 when Waddle got that touchdown at the end before the half. Other than that, they have showed up and showed out, for the most part. And when they needed to get a stop for the most part, they've done so outside of the Baltimore game. So they're on point. And I think they still had a few guys that were out today, if I'm not mistaken. I know Mills came back today. Obviously, Dunker came back today. So they just look different when those guys are on the field. And I know this guy I'm about to say is on the offense, but we finally saw a sighting for him today. Your guy Henry finally had a little bit
Yep.
of a wake up call too there. And what do you know, Craig?
Broke somebody. Broke.
They threw a seam route, Craig.
Ah,
They threw a seam route to us. I said, what do you know? Getting him, there's no way a linebacker has able to hold Hunter Henry one on one. Like let's
yeah.
not let's not get crazy. Like, what are we doing? Like, so I am happy to see him stop, get shut off the block. And I was like, wow, the middle of the field was open. What do you know? Um, so that to me was just awesome. But no, back to the defense. No, defensively, no, they don't have a weakness right now currently. I just think that they have to continue to build off what they've done. I just think they need to find a way offensively to really get it going so that they can preserve the defense, because I think the defense is going to be great all year, but they need an offense that can actually get something done. Because obviously you're not going to expect shout outs. They may get one more, low scoring, game out of this defense, depending on who they face. Like Chicago could be, it could be even next week, right?
Yep.
Kobe Brissett's not really, although he had good moments here, like, he's not someone who's gonna light up a team. He's very methodical, kinda like a Byron Leftwich type guy. For the once again, if you don't know what that is, he's the now assistant, coach down in, Tampa Bay, but he played for Jacksonville for a number of years. But anyways, yeah, so I don't see him being someone's gonna cover. I'm more worried about Nick Chubb, and like I said, we'll get into that when we talk
Oh
about
yeah.
that. But yeah, so yeah, but defensively they're there. I did want to get on one more though. Like, I know you said you didn't have any, but to me, it's not necessarily a player, it's necessarily the play calling. So I had it written in my notes as situational football. When you have certain downs and distance, there's certain plays you should be able to go to that are your bread and butter. We don't have that still. And we're 5 weeks into the season, and it's like they still will run a draw when they need to run a draw, or they'll pass it when they or go for a field goal when they need to go for a field goal. And I get it. Nick Folk, as Bill talked about after the game, he glowingly spoke about Nick Folk. So he clearly holds Nick Folk in high regard. I get it. We revived Nick Folk's career because he wasn't this guy in Dallas and he wasn't this guy with the Jets. We definitely revived this career. Great, awesome. We've had a really good runner kickers here from Vinatieri to Gostkowski now to Folk. Cool. But there's still some situations where they have a chance to go for the juggler and they don't. And thankfully, Judon tackled and sacked Jared Goff that led to that touchdown because it's like, yo, go for the kill. Especially when he was getting the ball back in the second half. The game could have been over. I mean, the game was over by third quarter anyways, but it's like you could have had maybe 35, 40 points on this team. And it could have been maybe 50-0, had you ran or just certain play that you should have done on first second down. So my thing is the situational football still is not there. Also too, listen, Nelson Aguilar, and I know there's fans that will listen to this as listen to it as we stream, fans that will listen to this on the platforms that we stream on for our podcasting. So either Apple or Spotify, they will listen to this, when it comes out, and they'll agree with me when we say this. Nelson Aguilar has to go. This is 3 plays in 2 weeks not 2, well, 3 plays in 3 weeks, I should say, that he's potentially changed the game. And yes, it didn't matter today because the defense was so dominant that it didn't matter who was out there, right? Like they would have needed Barry Sanders, Scott Mitchell, Herman Moore, Lomas Brown, Dre Bly, Calvin Johnson. Like they would need a lot of guys. Dominican Sue, like they would need a lot of guys that they were great players from previous Lions eras to help them today. I got it. Nevertheless, Nelson Aguilar, once again, he hit you. He hit a mirror, like hit him. So your hands were out, right? His hands were there, so you catch it, and you're fumbling like you're playing, like I'm grabbing popcorn out the microwave, and my hand is hot. That's what it looked like, and it's like, bro, we're not playing hot potato. What are we doing? Catch the damn ball and then fall down. Fall down. It's okay. I don't know. Like I said, to me, that was a drive. Obviously, it was a drive killer. Obviously, the Isaiah Wynn, holding call. I think that was another drive killer. So it's like the situation, understanding down the distance, understanding that you cannot make a mistake in certain moments, really at all. But if it is in certain situations, you just cannot make a mistake. That has to get eliminated because the defense is getting turnovers. They've got 2 turnovers at least the last 3 or 4 games. This is what this is becoming. They were like this. They were like this in 2019 as well. Like they were very opportunistic defense. Where I remember that pick 6 that McCourty had in Buffalo. So I remember this reminds me of that 2019 defense. Only difference is like they're younger on defense and then they're faster on defense as well. So they just got to figure it out. But yeah, situational football, and then Nelson Aguilar. I don't know if we have to go back to the old school with Steve Largent and Jerry Rice, and put the stickum on his hands and just say, hey, this is what we're going to leave that slow coat before the game, and then just be able to hold on to that because he is someone that can be a threat, but you're not a threat if you're catching the ball and then someone's able to punch it out or you can't catch it. So he needs to do what his school's alma mater or his alma mater will say, their hashtag. He needs to learn how to fight on. He's fight on and get it together, Nelson. Please. I'm begging.
I'm so happy you brought up Nelson Aguilar because that, to me, for Bailey Zappe to succeed in this league, he needs to clean up. If there's number one thing that he needs to clean up, it's trying to hit Nelson Aguilar right in the chest or the hands because that's a rookie mistake. And you're not going to succeed in this league if that's what you're doing.
How dare you hit him in his hand? How dare you hit him?
How
dare you, Billy Zappe?
How dare you throw to Nelson Aguilar where 99% of other wide receivers would have a guaranteed catch? How dare you?
How dare you? How dare you be that accurate? How dare you?
But the last thing, and we'll have to break after this. The last thing I want to talk about before we head to some other things, we'll talk about Monday Stevenson's Day coming up. Also, a couple of other things. So we'll preview the Browns matchup as well. Something the Patriots still need to work on today that you were mentioning this could have been the Patriots Titans type game from 2007. where they just blew them out, and I felt like the Patriots are better than Lions all 60 minutes today.
Yes.
Great day for the Patriots overall, but like we mentioned, so I'm nitpicking here. Red zone efficiency still awful, so
Right.
bad, so bad for this team. Patriots were, Ramondre Stevenson had 161 yards today and broke up some huge runs. No touchdowns. Patriots were 0 for 4 from inside the Lions 20, inside the Lions 20 today. That's something they're going to need to work out. It's something they've had a problem with all season long. And if this team wants to get back into the playoff and maybe Super Bowl aspirations again one day, that's something they need to get checked out. And they have red zone threats in this team. Hunter Henry had 9 touchdowns last year. Most of those in the red zone.
Right.
Devontae Parker should be a red zone threat. Had no catches today, only played half the snaps. I think that was by design because they're a running team. I'm done talking about Kendrick Bourne at this point. I think it's clear he's not going to be part of this offense. I'm done talking about him.
Wait, hold on. Before we can harp on that because obviously they had a little blow up on the sideline. So Kendrick Bourne, we defended you on the show. Today was indefensible. Get fucking set, bro. Get set. Stop. When you're running a play in motion, you know you have to be set at least a second or two before you snap the ball. Get fucking set. Period. Get set. So I can't defend that today because that's on you, 84. That's on you. Like you killed a few drives because you couldn't get set. So that's the problem. So yeah, so Bill was right to ream your ass out today. He was right for that. So I have no defense of 84 for that one, but at the same time, I think because him and Mac have that combination, like if he is out there, Mac's gonna find him. I think Mac trusts him. So that's where maybe he's waiting for to come back. So Mac can do some damage for him, but they need to figure out how to get all those guys incorporated somehow, some way. But that just came to my mind when you said that. I forgot about that earlier. So
I'm gonna look at the snap counts when it comes up tomorrow. But I always look at Mike Reese's unofficial snap count of all the offensive players, particularly the wide receivers. Kendrick Bourne is actually up there and leading top 3 in the wide receivers. Devontae Parker was out there a lot. So he's played like 95% of the snaps. He's out there. I'll give him credit for that. This game was not designed for Devontae Parker, so I wasn't expecting that much for him. But
it should have been after a while. Once they started losing all that's what got me mad too. Once they started losing, I know we have the break show, but once they started losing all of their DBs, like it should have changed the game plan. But like I said, we can go further to that after the break.
Yeah, but red zone inefficiency is still a big problem for the Patriots. They're gonna have to work it out. They've got 6 not necessarily hard matchups coming up, even though Cleveland's pretty good. We'll see how they do next week. That'll be more of a test for the defense than it will be for the offense next week.
Right.
When we come back, again, you're listening to the 617 podcast. Rayshawn Buchanan, Craig D'Alessandro here with you. We'll be back and we'll talk about Ramondre Stevenson. And I want to talk about the Patriots offensive line. And we'll also preview the matchup, as I just mentioned, with the Cleveland Browns next week. So if you're listening on the podcast, this episode has been brought to you by BetUS.com. You get a 125% sign-up bonus when you use the promo code PRO at sign-up. We'll talk to you after the break. And if you're on the stream, we're not going to take any break because I want to talk about my boy, Ramondre Stevenson. Welcome back to the 617. We're brought to you by the Crowworthy Network, the voice of the Boston fans, by the fans. And what a day Ramondre Stevenson had today. Holy crap. What was 25 rushes, 161 yards. He also added 2 catches for 14 yards. Damien Harris left early today. He was ruled out with a hamstring injury, which, as you know, running backs do phenomenal with hamstring injuries. They recover from them so fast, they're always the same runner afterwards. So we're going to see how Damien Harris looks when he comes back. But I think if he's out, actually, he only had 2 running backs active today, and Ramondre and Damien.
Right, which is why that's what turned into his breakout day because of that. So I was just hoping that nothing happened because I was like, oh my God, I'm like, if he's the only one that's out there being active, like, how was it going to change the offense if both of them can't go? So
I really thought today we were going to see at least a little bit of like Pierre Strong or somebody. I know Ty Montgomery's still a little bit away if he's coming back this season at all, but still giving the ball to Ramondre Stevenson. We talked about him since he came on last year. I think I I think it's a fait accompli that Damien Harris is gone after the season. But this is the kind of game that he can give you. And we're going to get to the offensive line because running backs and offensive line are pretty much side the hip. You can ask, Derrick Henry or Chris Johnson that.
Right.
If this is the kind of run, if that's the kind of runner he's going to be, if Mac Jones can get better, be what he was last year, this team can be back. I'm not saying it's Tom Brady level, but this team can be back. Ramondre Stevenson, a hell of a runner, a hell of a game today versus the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's well said. I think that if we could even get back to what we were in 2020, I know people say that, like, what do you mean in 20? Like, once again, they were a top 5 rushing attack in 2020. So
Yep.
if you can get back to those type of numbers, and then once again you find a way for Mac to get between 225 to 275 yards a game, then you're in business. And once again, if you're scoring, once again, the defense is going to make stops when they need to. So whether it's from Judon, Lawrence Guy, just Wise, Barmore, Goshow, like that, they're going to figure out how to get the job done. So that's that. But yeah, Stevenson, man, like I said, I can't speak about him, enough. We talked about in the first half of the show, like he is someone that's becoming special. He should become a fan favorite if he's not already. And yeah, he is definitely someone who should be a staple of the offense going forward. He is the better pass catcher of the two as well, so I think that's why he's going to end up seeing the field a little bit more than Harris as long as they're both there. But yeah, hopefully Montgomery or someone else can come along and be that third person to help out. But yeah, as long as Stevenson can hold on to the ball and continue to make them, because he definitely knows something people miss. Like I feel like Harris is more of like I'm gonna run through you, not run around you. Stevenson can run through you, but he also can make you look stupid. And I remember, I think it was either, I don't know if it was it might have been him. 'Cause I know he only got a couple of catches, but one of the catches he made, and he just made someone. It was like that Chris Berman, like whoop, like, and that's basically what happened. And I was just like, wow, this guy can do it all, and I'm hoping that it's here for a long time, and making us happy, because once again, he is
4 years.
very, very good running back. And I think Bill talked about it as well. Gave him shout outs today. So yeah, I wondered who had cloned Belichick today. 'Cause he doesn't usually speak that glowingly of players like that, especially this early in the season. But yeah, like I said, I can't. It cannot be stated enough that Ramondre Stevenson is the future. Hell of a talent,
I think
and I
I
can't
think
wait
he's
to
a
see what else.
I think he's a present. I think he is. I think
Yeah,
I think he, I
I
think
think I mean, 'cause he's right now, but I mean, he's
yeah.
definitely gonna be someone that's here, doing this thing as long as Kraft and the family, want him here, obviously. Because I mean, like I said, I don't see Bill being here another 7, 8 years. Like, I just miss somebody. Like, I don't see that happening.
Whenever
Unless it's like another Lou Holtz situation. I don't know,
yeah.
but I don't foresee that right now. So I think once he ties Shula, he's gone.
Yeah, I was about to say he's going for
Yeah,
Trula. So
well, for sure, record at this moment. Like
yeah,
he, I think he is why he's now one behind George Hallis.
I think so. Yeah.
I think it'd be special. I personally, I think he's motivated to pass Hallis on
Mhm.
Monday night against, in a couple of weeks. I think that's where he's at. That would be very fitting to surpass George Hallis in Soldier Field. So that would be really cool. I know Dave feels otherwise, but as he should. But yeah, I think just from our perspective, I think that would be very cool, very fitting. That he jumps into number 2 all time with that victory. So, or potentially. So, but yeah. But once again, love Stevenson, love what he's doing, and like I said, he is definitely someone that should be getting more recognition as the year goes on, not just here in New England, but on the national stage too.
So we compare him a lot on the show, and I think nationally he's compared a lot to LeGarrette Blount just because of how big they are,
Right.
and and they're both power runners, right?
Mhm.
The way he ran today, and the way that they actually like utilized him in the screen in the passing game. How about Zeke Elliott?
Mm, okay. Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah. Yeah. Good Zeke. Yeah. Good Zeke.
yeah, good.
Yeah.
How, how, how,
Yeah.
how about this? How about this? Cheap Zeke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not $25 million a year, Zeke. Probably more. I don't know, but
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah, I could see that. Because I remember when listen. For those
Is he
that
just he looked electric today. There was no stopping him.
yes, but I'm like, and I know. So just a quick aside for those who don't remember, and I know it's only been. I think he's been in the league for 6 years now. Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
Watch the tape from him at Ohio State. Like I know me and you in the Maurice Clarett era. We know,
Yeah.
we know about Jared, but he was really special playing Urban Meyer over there, and which is why he went top 5. Like dude was a problem at Ohio State, and had played well overall for Dallas too. But anyways, but yeah, I think that I think that's a fair comparison. Once again, when Zeke's on, he's a special talent. Regardless of what his fan base feels about him.
I'm not calling Ramondre Zeke. I'm just telling
No, I'm saying, but no, but and that's what he turns into.
awesome.
Awesome. We could be, we could at least be in contention for the divisional round. At
Mhm.
least, at least. 'Cause once again, a running game or a consistent running game can get you to the division round. At least now you got to play some defense and some time scoring.
Yep.
And who knows what can happen? But I don't want to put the cover for the horse, but they have
Right.
all way to go. But yeah, they're on the right track in that regard with him. That's for
All right.
sure. I can vouch for that.
We got the Browns coming up next week. We'll get to them in just a couple of minutes. I just wanted to give a quick aside, which is probably going to turn into a 15-minute conversation about the Patriots Patriots offensive line today. Because what a show from this offensive line today.
Mhm.
And they don't get credit, which is a good thing, because when you talk about offensive linemen, it's always a bad thing. And we'll get to Isaiah in a second.
Mhm.
But the Patriots, they allowed like 6 yards of carry today to Ramondre, just
Mhm.
a carry. So that was just amazing. It was just Ramondre was the star of the show today, but without the offensive line, they weren't going to do anything. No sacks allowed today. Kept Bailey Zappi on his feet. Good pockets for Bailey Zappi all day today, and that was a show totally offensive line. Trent Brown is just a juggernaut. He's just
Yeah, when he's locked in, yeah, for sure.
when he
Sure.
feels like playing. I don't think
Right.
there's a tackle better than him in the entire NFL. At least run blocking, because he's just a menace. Because he's a monster of a man. But when he wants to play, that's always the issue of him. When he wants to play,
But yeah, I mean
he's just
this is how he was in 2018 for us.
yep.
We got him from well, they weren't LA yet, but well, no, they were LA. They were LA. Not LA, jeez. Las Vegas, excuse me.
Oh, the Raiders guy,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, whatever. Sorry, my bad. But
Okay.
either way, they was on the West Coast. And yeah, he came in and was protecting Brady's blind side at the time, and yeah, that's what he's doing now. Yeah, he was definitely moving his feet really well today. Um, and yes, it is time to admit that Cole Strange
Yeah.
is an excellent offensive lineman.
Yep.
So again, we only had an issue that he picked him at 29. He would have been there. That is our only gripe. It is not that he couldn't play. And once again, I said it and I'll say it again. I was like, look, if you're drafting him this high, he better become Steve Hutchinson. He better become Steve Hutchinson. You
Mhm.
know? Uh better become, Will Warren. Better become one of those guys. So once again, he looks like he's on his way. Dude can
Well,
move. Dude knows how to. If he locks onto you, you're not getting by him.
yeah.
So he pulls well. He crack blocks well like that. So he does everything that you need at that position. So you love to see it. Like I said, Wendell looks great. David Andrews obviously has been the staple there for a number of years. So like I said, they have fine tuned that offensive line very, very quickly. And I'm happy that's been the case. Obviously, I know Marcus Cannon is back as well, which I think as soon as he gets into shape, I think that would be the end of Isaiah Wynn era. I don't think we'll see Isaiah Wynn as much. I don't. I like unless Isaiah Wynn figures it out. Um, I see Marcus Cannon coming back and being, out there being the right tackle. I
Well,
just don't think it's
yeah,
crazy.
Marcus Cannon was out there a lot today. He was tight end eligible, so he was out there a lot playing tight end. Because they only had one tight end, and Hunter Henry today. Because Jonnu Smith still dealing with that ankle injury. Looks
Right.
like he was back in practice this week, so We'll see. But yeah, getting back to the Cole Strange thing real quick. The reason people got mad at the Cole Strange pick was three reasons. Number one, I don't think people, deep dive into a draft like you and I or a lot of, you know, nerds do. So
Right.
we knew that going back that entering last year's the 2021 or 2022 NFL
Mhm.
draft wasn't that good.
Right.
Wasn't that good. The best player in the draft we played today, and I didn't see him that much. So the problem with the pick of Cole Strange was Patriots had their highest draft pick they've had in a couple of years in the low 20s. They pick an offensive lineman, not sexy pick at all unless they're in the top five, and you know who they are. And freaking um the mummy from ESPN who always knows Mel Kiper always
Okay.
has the always knows all about that. He only comes out once a year or
Right. Yeah.
whatever you
Exactly.
want to call it, Mel Kiper. Yeah, and so that's the thing. He wasn't a sexy pick coming out. They keep talking about you available in the fourth round, in the fifth round, in the sixth round,
Mm-hmm.
and I think most people are angry because it wasn't a home run hitter out of an offensive skill position. It wasn't, it wasn't somebody that was going to make an impact. It was an unsexy pick at a skill position that nobody really cares about, but it's probably one of the most important positions
Mm-hmm.
in all of football and the gridiron and the offensive line. If you don't have a good offensive line, you're a bad team. Let's just put it, that's
Right.
just the way it is. And Cole Strange, and I was shitting on him week one in Miami. I was like,
Yeah. Oh, we all were.
he's not
We all were.
he's already benched with another wasted draft pick by Bill Belichick. Go to next week against Pittsburgh. Has a good game against Pittsburgh, but it's
Yep.
Pittsburgh, right? Goes next week against the Ravens. Has a good game. No problems. No false starts, no nothing, no holdings, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Mac Jones for 98% of that game had a clean pocket, didn't really get hit that much, at least on that side.
Right.
That was Trent Brown's fault on that one, actually. But uh then last week has an amazing game. And this week, whole offensive line, including Cole Strange. You can't talk about one without the whole.
Right.
Another amazing game from Cole Strange in this offensive line. That being said, I want to find somebody in my life that loves me as much as Isaiah Wynn loves holding defensive linemen because he loves it. It's his seventh penalty in 5 games this season. Should have been called for a false start. I find it hard. I don't want to be too mean on Isaiah Wynn today because he actually played a good game. But these penalties, I think he's by far leads the Patriots in penalties, probably leads the
Yeah.
entire NFL
No,
offensive lineman.
yeah, for sure. But it's like, yo, like
He's
once again,
averaging more than a penalty a game, and he's fucking killing drives.
yep. But once again, same thing though. He goes 23rd overall in 2018. We're like,
Yeah,
what are you doing? Lamar still out there. Some other guys are out. What are we doing? Like, you got the lineman at 23. So it was like, what's up? You draft Michelle and once again, he's not even on the fucking team now.
yep.
Like that's wild to me. Like, so
He's
that's where
barely on the
people
Rams
get
anymore.
right, exactly. So it's just like that's where people are just like, what is going on? That's what people were mad about. Um, but even to for this year, people were looking for Trevor Penning. Um, some other names are just escaping me right now, but even a guy that the Lions have that played for them today, Penei Sewell, like he is someone that was highly touted coming out of the draft, and he's a hell of a left tackle. He's going to be someone that's going to be maybe mentioned in the Jonathan Ogden's or Orlando Pace of the world. But once again, we're nerdy when it comes to this stuff. So
Yeah.
people are probably hearing these names and I'm saying they're like, what are you talking about? But
Who?
those are two names that most people should know if you listen and watch football for a number of years. But yeah, I mean, listen, stranger
You
things have
drafted
happened.
who? I
Right.
wanted Devontae Smith. You wanted drafted who?
Right.
I wanted Jaylen Waddle.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, Jaylen Waddle went to 6. So I get why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get why. What I'm saying, but it's just we haven't had a top 10 pick since 2008. So I get that, and they hit on that. So with Gerard Mayo. So
That was I was about to say that was Mayo, right?
You know what I'm saying. So I'm just like that to me is that I wish. Oh, damn it! I mean, I feel like this shit would have been monopolized if that was the case. Could you imagine
Yeah.
if you were a team that won or at least was in the playoffs every year, and those were the teams that got into the top 10? Can you imagine? And if it went that way?
Yeah.
The Patriots still would be dominating right now. Easily.
Oh,
Patriots,
yeah.
Steelers would have been dominating. Like
Yep.
all the teams, Broncos, all the teams that was making the playoffs the league would have been going crazy.
Yeah.
But then again, it's good because like Kansas City probably would have some like Jordan Davis, and I'd have been like, what the fuck? And it had Jordan Davis, and it had Justin Jefferson, like it would have been out of control. Oh my God. I'd have been like, oh, that's so never mind. That's not a good idea. Never mind. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm just a fan. I'm just a fan. Fuck that. But excuse me, but but just to wrap it up on the lineman, I just hope that they continue to take pride in what they're doing. I think that, fans are ready to write them off, but to steal Geno Smith's line, they wrote me off. I ain't right back. So guess what? Offensive line, they try to write you off. Do not write back. Continue to return the sender. Push the linemen back. Push the linebackers back. Whatever you need to do to get the job done. In the words of one of my favorite rappers of all time, Big Daddy Kane, get the job done.
How'd you rate Matt Patricia's play caller today?
A C. A C.
A C.
I
Wow.
feel like he was better. I feel like it was wild. I feel like I told you last week he was in his bag when they scored him. And there was more drives of like that. Obviously, they had a defensive score today.
Mm-hmm.
They still had 5 field goals today.
Yep.
I want to cut that down to maybe 1 or 2. Like that's why I give it a C. Like I feel like there was.
Well, that goes back to what I said about the red zone, doesn't it?
Say again.
That goes back to what I said about the red zone, right?
Right. Exactly. The situation of football. So it's like, once again, defensively they're good in the red zone, obviously, because they're not allowing teams to go crazy,
Right.
like that. But yeah, you're about to see. Like I said, he's not someone where, like I said, unless they're scoring 4 or 5 drives, I'm talking about touchdowns, then it will become a B or an A. But yeah, it was in the middle still. Like I said, 5 field goals is not something to be pleased about. Once again, one of your scores happened defensively, so even then, you only scored 10 to 15 points offensively. That's how I look at it. So to me, that's not enough. Like you got to generate more. And yes, I understand what they preach up there. Everyone is all 3 phases. I get that, but this is 2022. You have to have guys that can get it done offensively. Period. So that's just what it is. But yeah, give them a C, and that's because they won. If they had lost, it'd have been like a D. But as they won, so I get we're great on the curve here, and yeah, we'll give them a C.
Patriots won today at Gillette Stadium 29-0 versus the Detroit Lions in their classic Pat Patriot throwback uniforms. Rayshawn, I want to be brief on this, but I think these throwback I wish I could wear them all year long, but I think they are definitely the best alternative uniforms in not just the NFL. I think they're the best alternative uniforms in sports right now.
Yeah,
They're just so fucking clean.
It's a nice for the NBA, but we'll get to that when we talk about. Football wise, yeah, I think they are very special. Listen, hey mom, because we talked about this on the phone. I told you I wanted to get a Mac Jones jersey that was all red. I told you the uniform coming back. So I said it to you. I know I'm super grown. When I said to you that at least I wanted to go out there. So I want to go out there. I'll take it to Skipjack's or whatever restaurant you like going out there, Red Robin. But I need to go get one of these red jerseys. So whether it's Mac Jones, whether it's KB, whether it's Duggar, like I need to get a red jersey. It is calling my name. Like I need one. So yes, I love the red jerseys. I love them. I think they are phenomenal, as you said. And yeah, I think that they should wear them at every home game, but then they're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Should be told, I would even get the white get the white ones like it too. Get the white ones like it.
All the white ones are even better.
Yeah, get the white ones like it too.
I like the white ones better than the red ones.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? Like bring that back.
It's just, I grew up I was born in 1988, grew up through the 90s and the early 2000s. My first memory of the Super Bowl is those, some people think they're iconic. I think they were hideous 90s jerseys, the Patriots. I love the Patriots like 2000 to like 2000, or when Mac Jones or Cam Newton was here. And then they switched to the color rush as the default ones. I think they're
Yeah,
absolutely hideous. Like
I agree.
what Tom Brady wore throughout the majority of his career in the New England, I thought those were so clean. I thought they were so good. But
You know what I
the
miss too? I miss the silver jerseys.
I don't remember
Remember the silver
those.
one? Remember the silver
No,
one?
I don't know.
So this is the game I remember this, and fans that listen to this, you'll remember this if you watch it back on YouTube. Good. It's in 2003. It's Cowboys come into town. I think it's week 12. And the Cowboys came in there, they're metallic blue or whatever, and we came into silver and blue. And I
Mhm.
was like, "Oh my god!" Remember, I had the Brady jersey and stuff. I have it. Like I that was my favorite one. I was like, "Oh, this is really." See, they wore it with the blue pants. They didn't wear it with they wore with the blue pants they wore on the road. And I was
Okay.
like, "Oh, this is really really nice." So I had one for Brady. I used to love the white one, the white road one, than better than the whole one. But I mean, I had Big Bang Clock, I had Merriweather, I had that's a
Yeah,
throwback.
yeah.
That's a Dean Collins throwback right there, baby. But
Oh yeah.
I had that one. I had wait, who else I had on the team? What I think I had Ty Law. I felt like most of the time Ty Law. I actually saw someone at TD Garden with the white '90s Ty Law one, which I like. I do like those. One of our favorite wrestlers also wore it and back in the day too when they came to Boston. So I think
Sure.
it shows how iconic it actually was because even that person wore it and they were the biggest pop culture, one of the biggest pop icons at the time. So yeah, I just think that was something that was pretty cool. But yeah, listen, these jerseys are sensational. And once again, if you're going to win like that, just like with the Celtics, when the Celtics wear all black, that's
Yep.
my favorite uniform for them.
Really?
Yeah, love it, love it.
Hmm.
But as I was saying, you're right. You said it was for about 15 minutes, but yeah, the my favorite,
I know you. I know you. I know
my
you.
my,
I know
my
your game.
favorite. No, okay, I can now. Cause as soon as you trigger it,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
my
We
favorite.
call those the rabbit holes.
Yeah, my favorite uniform of all Boston the last 10 years, um, was the green and gold alternate that Celtics had. I want to say it was maybe
Oh,
the first year that Isaiah Thomas got here or second year.
okay.
I love those. And I'm like, cause I remember I was like, oh, this is clean. I never got one. Obviously, I can't get one now because they don't have them
Yeah.
in the
Right.
store. They only sell the road and the home ones. But I was like, oh my god, I was like, these are phenomenal. So, even the Christmas Day one's pretty dope too with the little cursive letters. But I feel like they just always. I'm like, yo, why don't you keep those around? Like people love those jerseys. Like, won't you just keep those around? Like, have like a retro section for that. Like, they should do that for New England too. Have a retro
There's
section.
there
All that.
there's a Twitter account out there. I'm not sure if you follow. You might. If not, I'll send you a link for it because I
Mm,
don't know it off the top of my head. But it's because Celtics always wear varying uniforms. You have unis and stuff like that. So it's
right,
what uniform the Celtics are wearing tonight or whatever.
right.
And it's just oh because I think maybe I'm biased because we're from here, but I just
Yep.
think the majority of the New England teams, like the Bruins spoke to be, oh, beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Uh, Red Sox, whatever. It's a baseball uniform. Patriots, obviously, the throwback in their and their 2000s, early 2000s run. Love those. Always love the Celtics. I think that's classic. It's clean. It's clean
Yeah,
AF.
but even with the Red Sox, when they went to the red home ones, I love
Oh, those are
those.
nice. Yeah.
Those are like the one that Nomar was to wear before Nomar left. Like,
Yep.
I love those. I even love the blue ones, the navy blue ones that they end up getting. Later on in David Ortiz's career here, like I
Yeah.
love the blue ones on the road. So, um, underrated
Oh,
one with Boston Strong Gear was underrated in my opinion.
boss. I,
Strong
I,
Gear was underrated in my opinion.
I'm in the vocal minority that really like the City Connect jerseys for the Red
Oh,
Sox.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't get up with it, but I have it. Oh yeah, I've worn on here. If you go back and look at our YouTube page, guys, we thank you for listening, or
Yep.
watching as well. But yeah, I have them on in the show that I think I did with Bobby. Like, yeah, you can go back and look at it. Yeah, I'm gonna get another one too because yeah, I love those. Love it. Love it.
Once I hated, and then surprise, surprise, there'll be another Red Sox one. I think it was the year that Bobby Valentine managed here. they started wearing like those retro gray road ones.
That's
They're
what
just
that's
like
the same.
fine.
That's the Boston Strong one. That's what I like those. I like those.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
There were
yeah.
ones there. They were like, we want to bring it back to like the 1920s or the 1912s or whatever.
Oh,
I
no,
mean,
sorry, no, that's not, no, I'm thinking about something else. I'm sorry, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm thinking about something else. But the ones they wore the year they won when they won in 2013, and they
yeah.
had those, and they had the 617 strong on it like that. Those, those three were underrated. I like those a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Anyway, enough about Pat Patriot. Patriots are 2-3 now, almost just a game under 500 now. Back on the road next week versus the Cleveland Browns. Browns lose today versus the LA Chargers, 30-28. Browns currently, I haven't taken today. Well, I kind of have not. Browns have the third highest scoring offense in the NFL. Nick Chubb is an absolute stud this year. He has 118 yards a game, went off for over 100 yards again today. David Njoku has finally figured out how to be good at football after years and years and years of mediocrity. And Jacoby Brissett's keeping them, it's just keeping them afloat, which they're hoping they can do till Deshaun Watson can get back. And I think week 11, I think it is.
right.
And don't forget, they also have Amari Cooper back there. They also have Kareem Hunt. So we're going to wrap it up now. Early thoughts on the Browns matchup, and we'll talk about that later this week before we take off for today.
Right. They have one more thing. Well, I'll tell you about that thing I'm gonna touch on, but that's at the end. But yeah, so
Ryan.
I got you. Yeah, no, I got you. No, yeah, I mean, just early thoughts, not to go too deep into depth, if I can speak for a second. Yeah, you mentioned
Hard, isn't it?
yeah, it is, right?
Yeah.
Offensively, they have it going on. Once again, we just saw a team that was great offensively, and we shut them down. So now it's at their crib. So we'll see how they respond in the dog pound. I'm hoping that Belichick is personal, since this was a team that ended up letting him go after him being the most successful coach in their history outside of the guy they had the ages of the name. Oh, Marchand. Jeez, I'm sorry. Sorry, Sleeveless. Yeah, Marchand. My bad. Yeah. So I'm like, I had a brain cramp there, but yeah, I think that they have a lot of talent there. Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward. They have a lot of guys there that are very good at their positions and good at what they do. But if there's anyone that can neutralize them for a game and take advantage of what they do not so well, it is Bill. Because I mean, listen, T.J. Hawkinson. We didn't even talk about that. T.J. Hawkinson was non-existent. Which that's a Bill Belichick special.
Oh yeah,
he's not beating us today, and they made sure that he didn't get to get to a fourth corner. So phenomenal.
Who's your best player? Say bye-bye.
Right, exactly. So I'm hoping we decide that with Chubb and say that Chubb is not going to dominate, but I think that's going to be harder to do. I just think that Nick Chubb is, guys that are that special they find a way to get it done. So hopefully they find a way to neutralize Nick Chubb, but that's just my early thoughts on it. And I think that, it's going to be a battle of the running backs. I think that, Stevenson will have another big game, and it'll come down to him versus Chubb in the end.
Patriots beat the Detroit Lions 29-0. Shut out the Lions. Shut out the most explosive scoring, quote unquote, offense in football. Again, this has been the 617 podcast. Thank you for being with us here today. Again, on the 617, brought to you by the Crowworthy Network, for the fans, by the fans. This has been Rayshawn Buchanan. I'm Craig D'Alessandro. We'll talk to you probably a couple of times this week. What I want to do this week here on the show, we haven't talked about, for valid reasons, the Boston Red Sox coming up this week. And it's time to do a little autopsy on our little favorite baseball team in town. So we'll do that.
We'll probably be doing a Celtics preview. So
and also
we'll talk about them.
Yep. Also, them Bruins are playing soon.
I mean, I'll give things. I'll be there. So yeah, season opens October 15th. 7:00. They're actually the opponent. I just know they play on the 15th at 7:00.
Good job, Ray.
Yeah. I forgot the opponent. There's so many.
Hold on, I'll look it up.
But yeah, so yeah, they open on the 15th. I know the next game is that Monday, as well as 7:00. So,
the Coyotes
ready to go crazy. Oh, the Coyotes. Okay, yeah. So, they look good for what I've seen so far. I don't know what young guys are gonna make it on the team, but Bergeron got a couple like that. So, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, Bruins, in my opinion, they'll be fine. They're without their top offensive players for,
Yeah.
at least till Thanksgiving, maybe Christmas. We'll see how
Yeah.
they have that.
Yeah, it's
I
like,
promise you, I
what?
promise you a Celtic. I promise you a
No.
Celtics minute.
And what? So this minute going to 5. No, it's okay. All right. No.
Yeah,
So yes, we've now we're 75% into the preseason. Celtics won Friday night, won 10-3 down in Greensboro, facing the Charlotte Hornets for the second time in the preseason. All the starters sat except for JB. JB just looks really good right now. The starters in general look really good. So they really have taken off from where they were, or they haven't taken much off from where that they were last season. But just one nugget before we get out of here, because like I said, we'll do a deep dive into it later on in the week. Um, Noah Vonleh deserves a spot on this team. I know people are enamored with Fernando Cavangeli. They love Luke Cornett, and I get that. Those guys are awesome. Cornett's gonna make the team because he has a standard deal, but
yeah,
um, Noah Vonleh showed me Friday night. To me, cemented it. He started Friday night, 14 points, 13 rebounds, high energy, knew how to switch off of people. Like there's a lot of things that he did well. Also we'll talk about later on in the week, but yeah, he was great on Friday. He's been great the whole preseason. And I think he approximates enough of what Al and Rob do and what even Blake does to an extent, to be an asset to this team, not just from to down to December, but throughout the season. So I'm excited to give that season preview. We can't wait. Hopefully we can get somebody on to talk about it with us that's a little more in tune than we are. But once again, you guys are so love with the Celtics
yeah.
content. So
We,
we got more heat for you coming.
we know some people. We know some people.
We know some people.
How far into the season do you think before we stop talking about Ime?
It depends on how much details can.
Oh, a lot. You know, a lot more is going to come out.
Well, I know for sure. I know about saying, but it depends on how much more comes out. Is what I'm saying. Like I think that's where more content will be given on that. I think by now that's the case. If you're looking to get the whole story, then the damage has been done to an extent, so you might as well just put it out there. That's just how I feel about it now at this moment. Um, so yeah, so there's a lot of turmoil that happened there. Obviously, a lot of turmoil that happened with the other team that we faced in the final. So, yeah, very very crazy off season. It usually it's pretty quiet, but it got very very loud in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
I,
I do think it's something where we, it depends on how much comes out that we end up hearing, that we're able to do either show on it or do a segment on it. But it's coming. So
I still think
prepared.
I still think at the end of the day, when we get to, March, April, and where however long the freaking NBA playoffs drag on, because they drag on for like 20 years a season. Eventually, when we get the Eastern Conference Finals, it's still going to be probably Milwaukee and Boston again. So, I to be honest with you, I'm ready to put a lot of this behind me. I think it's a terrible situation for Ime.
Right.
Clearly he got drunk. Clearly, I'm not sure how far this goes back. This is an issue when he was on the Nets or one of the other teams, but clearly, um, he got he realized how much power he had and how much how much influence he had, and sometimes that
Mhm.
just really corrupts people.
Right.
Ultimate power corrupts ultimately, right? Or something
Right.
like that.
Exactly.
No, absolute power corrupts absolutely. I think that's what happened to Ime.
Right. Yeah. No. For sure. And I think that there's a deeper conversation to be had about, once again we talked about it on the show too, where because he is an African American, understanding that you might have messed up some things going forward because of your actions.
Sure. Yeah.
And so it's not just about, oh, it was consensual or whatever. It's not about that. It's deeper than that. And I wish people understood that as opposed to making the jokes they made. Once again, I joked about the Nia Long thing, and I was like, yes, I'm like, listen, Nia Long is fine, but that's a whole
Yeah.
other conversation. But on a serious note, once again,
These were humans that were hurt by a man who clearly didn't care that much about it.
right, yeah, exactly. And it's just like that. That's just that's the unfortunate part. But at the end of the day, two people are culprits, and also we'll
Yep.
leave it at that. It's not about we don't need to bash anybody, but two people are culprits, and it's unfortunate, and then, it is what it is. But either way, I'm excited for October 18th. We got Philly in the building.
Yep.
Same with
Oh,
that.
that's gonna be
Yeah,
oh, that's gonna be such a great game.
that's such a good game. So and then So,
That's
yeah,
prime time game. That's a
I'll
prime
be
time game, right?
Say again?
That's a prime time game. I'm
Yeah, it's at 7:30. I'm hoping it's 7:30 game. I hope it's not 8. I hope it's 7:30. I hope it's at 7:30, 9 o'clock because that 30 minutes back.
I will tell you.
I think it's
It
7:30. Yeah,
is. It
7:30.
is. Yep, 7:30.
Yeah, great. Thank God. So,
Well, so we got 7:30 versus Philly. Then we're at Miami at 7:30. That's on ESPN.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So
And they got
we're at,
Cleveland,
so
Cleveland
they
and
got two
Washington.
straight. They got 2 straight primetime games to open the season.
Yeah,
And their primetime game.
that Miami game's gonna be a good one too. Down there. So,
Well, Miami took them to 7.
yeah, but I know that they're gonna be extra motivated to make a statement early on. But
I
mess.
Yeah, I think they found that missing piece in the in the offseason, adding in Malcolm Brogdon, but we'll save that for the Celtics show that'll come out before the start of the regular season. But as I mentioned, Patriots win 29-0, shut out Detroit. Coming up next week against the Cleveland Browns. For Rayshawn Buchanan, I'm Craig D'Alessandro. This has been the 617 podcast, brought to you by the Growworthy Network, the voice of the Boston fans, by the Boston fans. And we'll talk to you a couple times this week over here on the 617. Talk to you guys later.